Anon and the boys set out for the ultimate European adventure. Hostels, sightseeing, and endless fun. But deep in the unmarked forest, they find something that was never meant to be found. It's watching, it's smiling, and it's hungry. Alright, users, I have a story for you. I've never told this to anyone before today. In the hope of getting answers, I decided to post on this. Be me, your everyday German kid. Be around 2 years ago. I had a group of friends from childhood. Let's call them Richie, a really rich kid whose dad got into the steel business and made it big. Tyler, a white kid who really wanted to be black, but was still fun to hang out with. And Urkel. The nicknames are self-explanatory. As kids, we all had one common interest. Scooby-fucking-Doo. So, when we got older, we were seriously into haunted houses. Since we lived in Germany, Berlin, and all that, we had plenty of abandoned World War II places, battlefield sites, and a shitload of haunted legends. We all practically grew up getting the shit scared out of us. So, after we graduated from high school, Richie invites us on a trip around Europe. None of us are as rich as him, so he practically finances the whole trip. To be honest, none of us wanted to take a handout. We're all as close as family, so we joke. Remember, we grew up sneaking into abandoned World War II bases, so practically nothing scared us. After a bunch of visits to different cities, we decided to go to Prague. Czechoslovakia is pretty famous for its hauntings, but, to be honest, we didn't really see anything special. In the end, Tyler, who spoke Slavic, told us about this really haunted place, Houska Castle. Since we had nothing to do, since we were set to go to Kiev, we decided, why not? The place, for those of you who don't know, is surrounded by a huge-ass forest. So Urkel suggested that we camp out there. We were all really into the prospect, so Richie got us some camping supplies and we were on our way. But it turned out that the castle was apparently blocked off by the government. Being the idiots we were, we decided to sneak in at night. After sneaking in, we thought of immediately going to the castle, but we decided to march on deeper into the forest to make sure any patrols didn't catch the smoke from the campfire. I remember that after an hour or two, we came across a big-ass gate. Literally, one of those fancy old ones that were just lying in the middle of the forest. It looked old, and it definitely wasn't iron because it would have rusted. We took a bunch of pictures and decided to move on. Now, here's where it starts to get weird. As we kept moving on, we kept hearing noises. At first, it was the wind rattling the bushes and the sound of the leaves. We had been doing this nearly our entire lives, so this didn't even scare us. Then, the wind starts blowing really bad, and Urkel suggests that we ought to set up camp. We all listen and do our best to set up camp while the wind is fucking everything over. Then, all of a sudden, it just stops. Literally, all noise just stops. Still not freaked out, but noticeably alert. Richie pulls out his gun. Don't know how he has one. And Urkel pulls out a book and some salt. Yeah, we had these contingency plans just in case. Tyler, easily the most fearless of us, decides that we need to take advantage of the wind and set up camp. Forget everything, and we all help him. Eventually, we have everything set up, and we all decide to retire for the night. I had some shit-tier nightmares that night. I can't remember what they were, but holy shit, I woke up covered in sweat. Wake up, get dressed, and get outside. Everyone, excluding Tyler looks like shit. Richie pulls out his GPS and tries to find the castle. The worst possible thing happens. GPS not working. We all panic and reach for our cell phones. Dead. That's not fucking possible. We charged them before coming here. We're all pretty alarmed, but we're not scared of the too spooky for me ghosts. But survival in the wild? We all decide to pack up and try to retrace our steps. While doing this, we end up more lost than when we started. Panic is beginning to set in when we hear something loud behind us. All of us are on edge. So Richie whips around, holding his gun, and shouts, "Come on out!" At his command, a guy comes out of the forest, surprising us all. He's holding his hands up, but he looks majorly annoyed. He looks at us all pretty angrily and asks, "What are you people doing here?" The way he said "you people" was pretty weird, thinking back on it. Also, to describe him, he looked weird. He looked around 6'1", had white skin, and was wearing the weirdest clothes ever. He was wearing a bloody cloak. The weirdest thing was that he had a perfect face, like the kind you see in magazines. Literally perfect. Not a single acne mark or flaw. He didn't even look human. The guy looked pretty mad. Tyler, who, by the way, was not just a wannabe gangster in appearance, took offense to this. Now, a little backstory here. Tyler was a wannabe alpha. He got beat up a lot because he didn't know when to shut up. So, he started learning some martial arts or something. Can't remember. And he eventually became the toughest motherfucker around. This made his attitude worse, because now he could back up his threats. Tyler goes up to the guy and is nose to nose with him, calls him a bitch, and asks him what the hell he's doing here. The cloaked man looks annoyed now. Just before a fight can start, Richie puts on his ass-kissing face and gets between them. He settles the situation and asks him who he is. The guy doesn't respond, but looks much less annoyed. He tells us we should really leave. We're a bit relieved and ask him how to get out of here. At this, he nearly jumps back. "You mean you don't know how to get back?" We all tell him that we're lost. He looks completely paranoid now. We all ask him what's wrong with him. The guy's face shifts back to what it was before, and he tells us that we should do our best to find our way out. We're all confused as fuck, and Tyler, who seems more pissy than usual, tells us that he doesn't like the guy. When he asks him why, he just says, "You know, man, just something wrong with him." And he starts to leave the way he came. The guy is seriously fast. Weirdest thing was, he wasn't even running. He was just gone. We chase after the guy, asking for help, but he's already gone. Eventually, we decide to say screw it, and go back to trying to get out of this stupid-ass forest. As the sun goes down, we decide to set up camp again, but we're out of butane, so we can't build a fire. When nighttime comes, things get weird. We're all trying to sleep, but we all keep hearing sounds and noises coming from the forest. They sounded weird. They sounded weird, all right. Like the sounds of a fight or something. Lots of grunting and shouting. And weird shouting, not the human kind. The wind is seriously stirring, but the trees don't seem to be moving much. Tyler convinces us to go investigate. For the first time, we're a bit cautious, but we grab the gun, a torch, and some other shit, and head towards the noises. As we head towards the noises, we start feeling really creeped out. And trust me, we haven't felt this kind of feeling since we were 12. Urkel seems to be getting the worst of it. He's clutching his Quran and reciting the Duad Sharif. As we get closer, the air seems to be ice cold, something that definitely should not be happening in June. And then, when we get to where the noises were coming from, there's nothing. Just an empty clearing. We're all relieved that the noises are gone. But then a shiver goes up our spine, and we all turn around. No, seriously, we all turned around. Like some synchronized dance move in a Bollywood film. Just as we move, something quickly darts out of our vision. Tyler, in his eternal wisdom, whips out the gun and fires 3 rounds. That breaks the spell, and we all ask him, "What the fuck?" He tells us he saw something white and, on all 4s, move way too fast. We all say we should move back to the campsite and sleep. Even Tyler agrees. One issue, though. We couldn't find the campsite. Okay, time to panic. That was not fucking possible. We made sure to walk in a straight line and kept track. Everyone is blaming each other. Something was wrong, guys. We were honest to goodness bros. We never did this before. And one time, we even got trapped in an abandoned World War II base. I didn't feel right. Still, I managed to bring everyone under control, and we managed to find a clearing where we can at least rest. Now, we pick watches, I get first watch, and so on. But Richie seemed oddly angry to part with his gun. As I took the first watch, I couldn't help but look up. There was barely any moon, but the amount that there was seemed to completely be blocked out by the forest. Another weird thing was that the trees seemed to be curving inwards, like they were trying to contain us or something. When my watch came to an end, I woke up Urkel and handed him the gun. I fell asleep pretty easily, considering the circumstances. I had more nightmares that night, but nothing compared to be woken up by Tyler's screams. I wake up and Tyler is ranting like a maniac. He's angry. I ask Richie, who looks pissed, what's going on. He tells me that Urkel never woke him for his watch. He was gone. We couldn't find Urkel. We did, however, find the gun. Empty. We're all pretty angry, worried, creeped out. We looked for Urkel, but it looked like he just vanished. No footprints, nothing. We're pretty sure that he took the bullets for some reason, because the sound of a gunshot would have woken us all up. While we're calling for him, we find another stranger. This time, it's a chick. And I'll be damned if it isn't the hottest girl we've ever seen. Literally flawless face. And is wearing a cloak very similar to the one we saw on that guy earlier. She seems to be pretty pissed at us for being here in general. When we explain that we're lost, her face becomes white. She doesn't reply after that, and asks us, and I shit you not, "Has one of you gone missing?" We're all alarmed by that. Tyler, Urkel's best friend, is about to kick her ass. He starts screaming at her and asks her what she knows about Urkel. We try to calm him down, but he rushes at her, intent on kicking her ass. Then, the weirdest thing happens. The girl doesn't even react, but catches Tyler's punch and kicks him straight in the nuts, so hard we hear something snap. That should not have been possible. Tyler is buff and fast as fuck. No person should have been able to catch his punch. It's at that moment I think we're not dealing with a person at all. She looks a bit pissed, but just walks off while we tend to Tyler. Richie chases after her, but comes back without a clue where she went. Then, while we're still looking for Urkel, we find our old camp And guess who's just sitting opposite the remains of the fire? Fucking Urkel. When he stands up so we can see him, he has this weird, full-face smile on his face. Like a Cheshire grin or something. First thing we feel is relief that he's fine. The second is anger. We're all pissed at him for walking off, but he apologized profusely, saying he had to use the facilities. We're pretty sure he meant toilet, and found the camp. When we ask him about the ammo and the gun, he's surprised, and for the first time, that creepy smile drops. He tells us he doesn't know what we're talking about, and we all agree, after a heated conversation, to drop it. We start making plans on how to get out when Urkel starts giggling. It starts as a chuckle and then becomes a full-blown laugh. We're all a bit creeped out, and Tyler, fearless motherfucker he is, asks Urkel what's wrong with him. He just says that he was in remembrance. We're a bit confused, but Urkel has always been a bit weird. We don't want to leave the camp, so when the night falls, we just stay here. Later that night, Richie and Tyler wake me. They're saying that something's wrong with Urkel, and we need to go and check what's going on. I suspected it too, so after a conversation on what to do, we decide to go outside and look around the camp area. But we'll keep track this time to avoid getting lost. We all head out, and we make sure not to disturb Urkel in his tent. As we head out, the air gets chilly again, and it's literally freezing cold, like we could see our breath cold. Then it hits us. It's a smell. A smelly smell that smells smelly. A smell that Tyler tells us he recognizes as the son of a butcher. The smell of dead meat. We follow Tyler and his super sniffer nose. What we find nearly kills us. It's Urkel. Although the body looks like it was torn apart. What's even worse is that, God, guys, I'm sorry, but this is difficult for me to write. He was my bro, you know. His body is infested with maggots. It looks like it's been dead for ages. His copy of the Quran, however, is placed upon a tree stump that's next to him, untouched. We did what anyone would do. We all puked. After some sobbing and shouts of Jesus, we ran from the scene and get to a clearing. We're all hysterical. Then, Richie looks nearly apocalyptic. I ask him what's wrong, apart from the obvious. Then he says, if that was Urkel, then who's back at camp? Oh shit. We all freak the fuck out. Urkel was our primary spirit expert and shit. He's not around anymore. As we begin to shout at each other, Tyler, in the middle of one of his rants, just stops. Just as we're about to ask him what's wrong, he points directly ahead. It's Urkel, or rather, what looks like Urkel. It's not smiling anymore. Richie pulls out his empty gun and points it. The thing then puts on a completely inhumane smile, like ear to ear, face-ripping smile, and begins to make grunting noises. I didn't recognize them then, but those were the same noises we heard when we first left our camp. We're all shaking. When Tyler shouts run, we don't hesitate. As we run, we make sure to stick together. I could honestly feel the thing behind us. It was chasing us, hunting us. We could barely see when Tyler tripped. Me and Richie slowed down to help him up, but in the meantime, the thing was right above us. It had literally jumped 5 feet in the air, and in one motion, hit me right in the chest. I later found out that one blow nearly crushed my ribcage, broke 4 of my ribs and nearly killed me. I don't know how far I was flung, but I blacked out after that. In the end, I woke up, battered and bruised, in the arms of that guy we met. The only thing I remember, before passing out again, was the guy whispering words and chanting, while all I remember was his face and a bright light. I woke up in the hospital in Prague. The officers had found my body on the verge of death, on the edge of the forest. No one else was ever found. We went in the forest on July 5th. They found me on September 18th. We only spent 3 days in the forest. Gosh, golly gee, that one was pretty long and very intense. That large door that OP mentioned reminds me a bit of a facility door, like the ones they used in secret laboratories. Just saying, you never really know what government secrets are being conducted in your own backyard. In any case, remember, stay spooky and look over your shoulder. There's something behind you.